magnificently inspired. Richard Eder of the New York Times says, brilliantly grotesque. The Austin Sun, this may be the best science fiction film ever made. A Boy and His Dog. A film that has become a cult legend.
Right now I'm hungry and I want to get laid.
That's what you always say.
You go find a chick and I'll hustle us up some food.
I can't do good work when I'm hungry.
You ain't pulling that crap on me again. And you can shove that part about how you lost the ability to hunt for food when you learned how to talk.
No food, no females.
After World War IV, your dog will tell you what to do. How to laugh, how to love, how and who to kill.
That stupid broad.
You're so funny when you're sexually frustrated.
Damn it. Now, when the hell am I going to nail her in there?
Simple. Stop shaking like a leaf and go do it.
A woman can't get pregnant. Every once in a while, we need new blood.
Horse manure.
You mean you want me to knock up your broad? Better watch your stinking mouth or I'm going to kick you in the butt.
If you can imagine an excuse for World War IV, you will understand a talking dog.
Try to get back as quick as I can. Will you wait?
For a while. Then over the hill. I'll miss you, Pig. I'll really miss you.
L.Q. Jones, A Boy and His Dog. A film that has become a legend by word of mouth. Rated R.
Hello, welcome to year 2 of the Parallax Review. We're going to be dealing with movies made in 1975 this year. With episode 26, we're going to be dealing with A Boy and His Dog, one of the most influential and controversial movies. And we're starting off with it because it was actually set in 2024. And it was a pretty interesting view of the future. Didn't quite turn out this way. So I'm Jim Vanderhorst, and with my co-host Ben Caldwell, we'll be talking about these old movies, seeing if they stand the test of time. How you doing, Ben?
I'm good, Ben. I just finished watching this a couple hours ago, so it's fresh. I'm ready.
That is good because it is dry like beef jerky in my mind. We also have a guest this week. We have Mike Vincent, another old friend of mine.
Maniac Mike.
Dudes of the Dead, another podcast about horror made here on Vancouver Island. Once I realized that we were both in the podcast game, I reached out. I thought it'd be cool for our first guest to be like another bygone friend of mine, considering the concept of the show is about looking back at the past. How are you doing, Mike?
Yeah, very good. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Cool. We're glad to have you. Do you want to describe Dudes of the Dead a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So a buddy of mine, Leatherface Lee, and myself, Maniac Mike, we do a horror podcast called Dudes of the Dead Podcast. We're currently on our 7th season. We tend to have a different theme each season. So right now we're looking back at 80s horror. You guys are in 1975, so we're not too far off from where you guys are at. We haven't really done 70s horror yet, but there's a lot of good stuff there. So yeah, we jump around, do different themed seasons. So last season we were doing all 2024 new films. So yeah, super excited to be on the Parallax Review with you fine gentlemen. Thank you very much for having us. I'm stoked to be here.
Cheers.
Good to have you, man. Thank you for joining us.
Before we jump into the time machine, have you seen anything lately that you were really impressed by or that you felt like talking about?
Yeah, actually. So because I do a horror podcast, all year I pretty much watch, not exclusively, but close to exclusively horror films. So in January, when things are very slow for horror, I try to go back and catch up on the non-horror films for the year. So this week alone, I watched Anora, I've watched Gladiator 2, and I've watched the first half of Deadpool versus Wolverine, which is really amazing. So we're going to finish the other half tonight after this. Have you guys seen Anora?
Yes.
Jim did.
I raved about it on the show earlier. It's one of maybe my favorite movie of the year. It's just, it was such an experience to watch. Like, the music is so horrible, right? But that's part of the point. And then it's one of those movies where like the last scene happens and you're just like, oh, I understand. Right? It just comes at you and you just left with this. Yeah. I just thought
Anora
it was a beautiful
fantastic
movie. Yeah. Mikey Madison is like a huge debut. I mean, I know I've seen her in some other stuff. She was actually in Scream 5. Thought she was good in that too. But just a a movie that I have thought about more than I think any other movie. Like, I really anticipated Dune, and I was really stoked on Sasquatch Sunset, which was way better than a movie with a bunch of people wearing Sasquatch outfits should be.
Yeah, that one looked interesting.
Yeah, I totally recommend that one as well. It's definitely
Cool.
a curious film. I love recommending it to people and just hearing their reactions.
Now, would you call Anora a rom-com? Like, to me, it's the best rom-com I've ever seen.
Excuse me. I was actually thinking the other day that it's a horror movie version of Pretty Woman.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, the Julia Roberts, like, she is very much like Julia Roberts' character, and Richard Gere is this terrible Russian oligarch's son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's a little more whiny, but yeah, Anora, because it's quite funny. That's what caught me off guard. I was expecting the drama part and the romance part, but it gets so absurd and over the top that we were both laughing pretty hard.
So I guess you didn't check in the IMDb and find out that the guy, Sean Baker, actually started out working on Greg the Bunny. Do you remember Greg the Bunny from like 20 years ago? The Seth Green were working on a TV show with puppets.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, that was his first big job in Hollywood, and he's also made a couple other interesting movies. I really liked Red Rocket with Simon Rex. It was a really interesting movie about a failed former porn star returning to his hometown, and like you think he might have a redemption arc.
I've heard of that one, but not seen it.
It turns out pretty badly for everybody.
Yeah, so Ben, if you've not seen Anora, you should definitely check that one out, I would say.
Yeah, we're now bullying you into it. You just have to do it.
I get it. I did happen to see the Wolverine and Deadpool in 4D in a crazy theater in Calgary. That was
wow. What was the 4D like?
It was weird. Like you're getting thrown around in your seat. There's both haptic feedback in the seat, but also like physical movement, like you're being jerked forward and back and left and right. And then they add in other effects. So like there's a scene where it's snowing and they add like a little bit of snow effect in the actual physical theater.
What?
And in scenes where it's raining, they add in like a spray of rain and a little bit of like wind sometimes. So it's really immersive, but it's also really distracting and a little nauseating at times.
That's so funny. I was just about to ask you.
I was going to say, is the 4D diarrhea? Yeah.
Yeah. That is it.
Is it more immersive or more distracting?
It's kind of both. It's weird. It's like when you play a video game and you're like have one of those rumble seats, like a racing sim or a flight sim, kind of that level of like you're in it, but like you're not controlling anything, so you're just kind of being like thrown around. But what really was most immersive was the scenes where you're just like in the vehicle with them. They're just driving in like an old van along a road, and you feel like the bumps and the little gyrations of the road and stuff. And then like there's a fight scene and it gets like really intense in the seat, and it does make you feel like you're in the car with them, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh, when they're having that fight?
I recommend it to everybody.
Inside the car?
Yeah, the fight inside the old van. It's great.
Whatever the car is. The car.
Spoiler alert.
It's a Honda Odyssey, the Fox? Is that what it is?
It is a Honda Odyssey.
They made a big deal about it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's some good product placement, I appreciate that movie finds a way to do all of the things that people criticize Hollywood movies for in a joyful way.
Yeah, it's very clever.
Yeah, just like kind of it eats its own any criticism you could possibly throw at it. It's like, oh, this is a dumb overall theory idea. Well, yes, but it's also a comedy. So
yeah,
who cares?
Yeah. And the cameos, I was not prepared for the cameos. They won't spoil them.
That was great.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
You're really
I really enjoyed all the versions of Wolverine as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now Gladiator 2, did you guys see that one?
I did see Gladiator 2, and even though like I don't think it's nearly as good a film as the first one, I think it is also the greatest film in cinema history because of the one scene where they have a gladiator fight with sharks in the Colosseum. That's the best thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life. It's incredible. I wish that I'd seen the movie in theater just for that one scene.
Yes.
It's so over the top and silly and perfectly executed. I was just like cheering. Yes, I was mad at the movie and mad that I was watching it up to that point. But that really was mean to a lot of it.
See, I think if Ridley Scott is really honoring the history of the films that he does, so I was like, were there sharks in the Coliseum? I don't think so. But I have to look this up. So sure enough, I looked it up, and no, apparently there were never sharks in the Coliseum. But I was like, huh, is this a thing?
He's
Around
just kind
this
of
time
lost.
last year, I went and saw Napoleon in the theater, and so I
just
just
gonna
kind of
bring this up,
passed
yeah.
on Gladiator 2. Yeah, I just thought, no, he didn't. He's lost something. Like maybe he's getting too old for it. I don't know.
He's almost 90.
Yeah. Do you know the backstory of how he chose Joaquin Phoenix for Napoleon?
No.
Okay, so we had like a little paper Napoleon hat, and he came across a picture of Joaquin Phoenix and just like slid the little paper Napoleon hat over him, and went like, "Oh, I can see it, perfect." And he reached out right away. He's just like, "Yep, this is my Napoleon." And I didn't hate his Napoleon. It was very like kind of distracting that he didn't do the accent, and there were some really funny choices, but it was exciting. It was fun, but it didn't feel historically accurate, I think.
Yeah, they try to jam, I think, way too much in there.
I heard that if you interpret it as a comedy, it works, but I have not endeavored to watch it.
The scenes where he has sex with Josephine are pure comedy, absolutely pure comedy, because he's just absolutely jackhammering and just trying so hard and getting so into it, and she's just like basically yawning. It's amazing.
Yeah, I took students to that film, so
oh my.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was awkward.
That must have gone over super well.
Yeah, it was funny actually.
You think you're so great just because you have boats.
There's that scene earlier on when the horse gets decapitated. Like one of the girls almost passed out and she walked out of the theater, so we had to like leave and then get her a ride home. So I kind of missed parts of it. The reviews from the students
was that the scene?
Positive.
Was that the scene where the horse took a cannonball right to the sternum?
That's the one, yeah.
Opening part. Oh god, yeah. That was brutal.
That was brutal. Yeah.
Yikes.
So, A Boy and His Dog. Mike, I gotta ask, do you think that this was a horror film? Like, considering the ending?
It's funny, right? It doesn't. I would say it has a few horror elements, but I don't think it's shot like a horror film, because I went into it preparing that it potentially might feel like a horror film. And so in the end, I would say no, but it definitely has some horror elements. Like there's some unsettling atmosphere in the underground, the Topeka part, and the ending is certainly dark and kind of edging on horror, but the way it's shot, the way it's scored, the way
Village of the Damned kind of came to mind a little bit.
Yeah. Would either of you have characterized this as horror at all?
No, but I think
Like,
it's one of the first
thematically and
horror
genre,
adjacent movies, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's a real rise in horror elements being used in non-horror movies more and more these days, especially with like the popularity of the horror comedy. But it's like, and so it's using a lot of the language. There's, I think the short story that Harlan Ellison originally wrote was much more of a horror story. Like there's these mutant zombies that are green and 7 foot tall, and they're called screamers because they're always screaming.
Screamers.
And they kind of hinted that those exist in the movie, but they didn't really have the budget for it. Like this movie cost about as much as a Hallmark movie does.
Yeah, there's that tense moment with the screamers where they kind of see the light and they hear them in the outside.
Yeah.
And there's also the scene with that cyborg guys chasing them through the underground part. Like
Michael,
that was kind of evocative of a horror scene, I thought.
I was quite unsettled by the makeup that everyone was wearing in that scene too. I also thought I was really being disturbed, but there was no jump scares and no rising tension, which are kind of strong elements of horror. And I think it's influenced a lot of other horror adjacent filmmaking too. But also like before we get into it too much, I guess this movie is most famous for being highly influential to the Fallout video games and the Mad Max movies, right?
Yeah.
And those aren't horror either, but there's lots of horror stuff that is kind of inspired by those. Like lots of knockoffs of both of those things are veer into horror very commonly. Like more often.
Yeah, this one's hard to characterize. It does blend a lot of genres together. There's some romance, there's some comedy, there's some sci-fi, there is some horror, there's some action. Like this is a real dog's breakfast of subgenres, I would say.
It's like
Dog's Breakfast is a
sci-fi.
Erotic sci-fi.
Yeah. Oh, apparently the book itself was like half sex scenes and description of sex, And like I'll describe some of the differences as we go because I really went in depth and wanted to read more about the literary half of this whole experience because he wrote sequels with these characters.
Oh, interesting.
Harlan
Yeah.
Ellison, yeah.
Yeah. So once we get through the plot description, we can talk a little bit more about that and see where they went with it. But there's a whole lot. This inspired so much because it was the first movie to do a whole lot of things, I guess. And it kind of felt like that because they were a bit shabby in their production.
Did you write down the tagline? It was something about like a kinky tale of survival or something.
Ooh.
Yeah. You know, it's funny,
an
when we were
R-rated,
deciding
rather
on-
kinky tale of survival.
Yes.
Yes. When we were deciding on our graphic to represent the show, Jim and I were doing some research and I stumbled upon this poster for this movie. And that really did like inspire our graphics. So shout out at least for the poster to this movie.
Yeah, it has two taglines. Yeah. One says an R-rated, rather kinky tale of survival, which is a really just a strange tone to even take in a marketing.
Yeah.
We would never see that. That's kind of the tone that you would see on a sign on an English bus telling you not to do something obvious like smoke a cigarette. The other tagline on the poster says, "The year is 2024" in big letters. Then in slightly smaller letters off to the left, it says, "A future you'll probably live to see," which Robert Ebert noted was kind of like a bit of a ridiculous thing to say. But now, of course, anybody thinking about it now lived to see 2024. And it was pretty bad.
Not Ebert.
Not nearly this bad. Not Ebert, though. Ebert didn't make it nearly this far.
I thought it was funny when they're talking about World War IV. I'm like, what happened to World War III?
Yeah, that was a brilliant choice. There's lots of little clever things.
Yeah.
And I think all the really intelligent stuff comes from Harlan Ellison because it was based on a short story that he wrote in 1969 that was published in a magazine called New Worlds. And then he also published the other short stories in magazines. It was a totally different era where magazines, like all of Dune was released in magazines before it was ever collected as a book.
Right.
It's a strange thing to think about because magazines are kind of like, they don't exist. The only magazine that I really see anymore is the People magazine because I see if I can get all the way through the whole crossword puzzle in the 5 minutes I'm on the can when I visit my parents at home. That's
the best way to read magazines.
Yeah, totally. Can you get how much can I get accomplished while I'm on the bathroom? Yeah. Yeah.
It's always fun to go back.
You mentioned the opening monologue or the opening prologue. It was actually tagged on for the 1982 re-release. The mushroom clouds and the explanatory text, I think involving the World War IV thing, to help explain the world of the film. And that's according to the Blu-ray commentary.
Okay. So, that makes sense. Because like the dog does kind of let you know things throughout the course of the first act, but it's kind of like the information is coming out very, very haphazardly. So that's nice of them to add that. So it was adapted by an actor that had been in a bunch of Sam Peckinpah movies. This guy's name is L.Q. Jones. You might have seen his face. He's most famous to our generation as the three-fingered bandit in The Legend of Zorro.
Oh,
the
nice.
Or whichever 1986 Antonio Banderas one. He's the three-fingered bandit that the bad guy murders in a big public scene. So his face is very distinct, and he was in The Wild Bunch and a couple other things. The Ballad of Cable
That's
Ho.
where he met Sam Peckinpah, was The Wild Bunch.
Yeah. He was also in Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid with Bob Dylan. And then he made this right after that. But he didn't direct much else. And he also had some help from a guy named Wayne Cruz Turner to write this, but that guy also didn't write too much else. So this is pretty much a Harlan Ellison kind of creation. And if you're not familiar with Harlan Ellison, he also wrote a short story that The Terminator is credited with being partially based on. He's been involved with shows like Babylon 5. He wrote the original Star Trek episode from the first season that won its first big awards, The City on the Edge of Forever. So he's kind of like being around and being influential forever. So it's not too surprising that like this guy that birthed all of these ideas that are so popular today in Mad Max and Fallout kind of came from this cranky motherfucker.
Yeah, he sounded a bit crazy.
Yeah, he sounds like a real asshole.
Because he had shopped this around, right? Just some big name producers, but he didn't
they
trust
tried
them
to make
do it.
this. Yeah. They
Like he
tried to make this
trusted
for
Elton
more
Jones.
money. Yeah.
Mhm.
And they wound up making it for like peanuts. It starred a relative unknown Don Johnson and Suzanne Benton. And Jason Robards has a small part. He was a very famous big actor at the time. But the most important role of the movie is definitely Blood the dog, who is played by Tiger the dog from the Brady Bunch TV show, as well as a voice actor named Tim McIntyre, whose narration and voiceover really like holds the whole movie together. I don't think this movie would make any sense without the personality and the information that this dog is giving us that they really could have figured out at any point in the production.
I think I came across that actually is not true, but it's widely rumored that it was the dog from the Brady Bunch. But I think in one of the videos that I watched preparing for this, they had said that widely it's thought that that's the dog, but apparently it's not that dog. Huh. Did you come across that?
I only came across the wide belief of that, but I didn't watch any videos about it either.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's totally possible, but it does look like that dog.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
If that dog from that show was named Tiger, then I guess we'd know for sure.
Yeah. I also believe that this movie would have just stolen a dog from the pound if it could have gotten its goals accomplished.
Yeah, they didn't have the budget for the dog from Brady Bunch poems.
Yeah, like this is a real low budget feeling movie, even by today's standards.
Try watching the Tubi version of it.
Oh, did you? Oh, you watched this on Tubi before you watched this? Or did you watch the whole thing on Tubi?
Unfortunately, so I saw it was on Tubi, and the feed was so bad, and I just kind of assumed that it was very poorly shot or had a super low budget. But it was like ripped off of VHS. It had like the lines that would go, and like the little tracking thing would come up occasionally.
Oh wow, was it like 4:3 too?
Yeah, it was awful. So then I found another feed of it later. I'm like, oh, I should have watched the Roku version. Was much better. Where did you guys watch this?
I downloaded it illegally for sure. Yep. And it looked okay.
Yeah, it paid off for you.
Yeah, like
I think there was a little hole in the film for like the first like couple scenes in mine, but otherwise it was pretty good.
Okay.
Like a cigarette burn gone wrong.
And where did you hear of this film? Because you would not seen
across that poster when we were looking
at we were wanting to put together a cool image that defined that 1974 for us, and in all the Google searches it kind of popped up, and I saw that it was credited as the inspiration for Fallout and Mad Max in many of its ideas. So I decided just that we should attack it in the next year because it's kind of infamous, and it's kind of fun to bring up and help build up the legend of these cult classic movies.
Yeah, because I'd not heard of it until you had mentioned we were doing Boy and His Dog. So I'm glad you introduced this to me, because whether we like it or not, it's clearly a significant film in terms of its influence.
Yeah. Before we get into reading the plot, actually, let's give our just our finger opinion of it. Like, what finger would you put on it? Would you put a ring on it, or would you do a middle finger to it, or maybe a pinky finger if it's a likable, if you're interested?
For me?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go pinky finger on this one. I would not recommend this to a general audience for reasons that we'll talk about. But I think if you're a fan of post-apocalyptic sci-fi, or if you're a Fallout fan, like I think if you are invested in the world of Fallout, if you played the video games and you like the Fallout universe, then it would be cool to go and see where the inspiration came from. So I would say for Fallout fans, I would recommend this film. But I think some of the misogynistic elements might turn a lot of people off. And I don't know if I recommend it overall. But yeah, I would say Fallout fans or big fans of post-apocalyptic sci-fi might enjoy this one.
Yeah, I think I'm the same boat. Like, it's a pinky. If you're going to be interested in this stuff already, if you're interested in post-apocalyptic things, like I'm a big Mad Max fan. I watched Fallout and enjoyed it, but I've loved the Mad Max movie since I was a kid. I thought Furioso was a really underrated, great movie that came out last year. Yes. It's just a really interesting world. So to have to see the origins of it is interesting. So I give it a pinky, but it's definitely a problematic movie that made me feel a little sick to my stomach a couple times. Like, it's definitely a rough take on this world.
Yeah. So I would like to debut a new finger for the new season, and that is the trigger finger, because I think it's time to put this old movie down, Old Yeller style. It's rabid, and it's not my movie, but I'll do it.
I feel honored to be on this episode when you debut the trigger finger. So it feels like a historic moment in your podcast.
It's a significant
Thank you.
evolution in our podcast.
Appreciate you recognizing the moment.
Yeah. Just like this is a significant evolution in film towards libertarianism, I guess.
So you hated it then, Ben?
Well, yes, and the reason I hated it is that I just don't like a protagonist that is just like obviously a rapist. That's just like,
Yeah, he's
why
a
are we
terrible
following
person.
this guy? Why
Yeah.
are we following this guy? I understand, based on context from the film, I assume it's 103 years after the last World War. So there's no morality. Nobody understands good and evil anymore.
Yeah,
This kid was obviously feral. I get it, but I also don't love that we're following this character. It was just really hard to get into. I'm just sitting there going like, why are we watching this? Why is this a movie? And yeah, it's based on a Harlan Ellison story. That's great. I love that it inspired Mad Max. And I think that George Miller did a lot better stuff with this type of material. But yeah, it's foundational, and you can kill your darlings. And I think it's time that we put this one down. Can't recommend.
Yeah, fair. Like, it is possible that this podcast is about all you need to experience of a boy and his dog, because it Don Johnson, looking like a spitting image of Dakota Johnson, I must say, in a way that I never noticed before. Like, we're used to Don Johnson now because he's still a good actor today. Like, he's showed up and it was great in Eastbound and Down. I just saw him last year in Rebel Ridge, which is a very good movie on Netflix. I don't know if anyone's seen that one, but he does a great job as a evil sheriff in a small town. But
I actually had to stop and rewind that line he drops at the beginning, like the most controversial line in the movie, I think.
I think the last line is the most controversial, isn't it?
Well, he looks down and there's the woman. He's like, "Oh, they shouldn't have cut her. We could have used her 2 or 3 more times."
Oh yeah, it's really terrible and reprehensible.
I was like, "This is our protagonist."
Yeah,
right.
You see this guy looking like his daughter. That's how like angelic and strange and is discombobulating it was to see him like that. And then the things he's saying and the things he's doing, and the strange conversation. And at first you have no idea what's going on because you're just hearing him and his dog talking to each other. And the dog is communicating telepathically, which is like the one major concept from this movie that I don't think I've seen anywhere else, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, why thematically is the dog talking to him telepathically? How did the dog evolve to this point? It's kind of doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Did you guys ever get a sense that there was an explanation or a reason for the dog being telepathic and the dog being the source of wisdom for this guy?
Nuclear radiation.
Yeah.
And they were training the dogs, and because at first I thought, oh, this is just going to be him going crazy, and he thinks he's talking to his dog, but it's actually all in his head. But there was some
that would be a more interesting take, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. But apparently, they actually found a way to make dogs telepathic through, maybe nuclear radiation. But
yeah. So I guess
I assumed a side effect of nuclear war and all of the fallout for the last 100 years. That was my guess. But it's sort of like the way that the screamers were, irradiated weird freak kind of mutant humans.
I feel like if we had seen those things, then it would have been so effective in creating a much more empathetic take on this world. Because, like, it makes sense that Don Johnson's grown up this way, or Vic. But what doesn't make sense is why we're following him. Exactly. Like, we need to have some kind of empathy for our characters, a way into understanding them. And there's really no moment where you kind of ever connect with him, or I don't know, or I never connected with him. I don't know if you guys ever connected.
No.
But I found myself kind of like I was watching a zoo animal a lot of the time. A zoo animal of a terrible white man, which is already the worst kind of animal, right?
So out of curiosity, would you attack something like American Psycho with the same criticism, where you're following a protagonist who is a horrible person Like, is that similar or is that different, do you think?
I
I
feel
think
like
there's
that
just
movie
more
is
of
a
an
much more of a
acceptance of murder in films than there is of rape
Right.
characters. And like, I don't know. Yeah, there's something, it's basically the same, same difference, but I don't know. I don't think anyone should also like I think the danger in anything like this is when really stupid people consume it and they get bad ideas from it. That's kind of like the only concern I would have with something like this because people can watch it critically, great, but if people start getting the idea that it's okay to do rape or it's okay to do murder like they do in American Psycho, he has kind of been glorified. Scarface gets glorified all the time,
Mhm.
Breaking
so
Bad, Walter
yeah,
White is glorified all the time.
people totally miss the point of that show.
I feel like Patrick Bateman does escape that though, because American Psycho is a character study about a person that is very clearly defined as evil. And I feel like LQ Jones isn't sophisticated enough to go out of his way to explain to the audience that you're not supposed to be rooting for Vic.
That's a great point. And I think one of the
Yeah.
criticisms that Harlan Ellison had is he meant his book to be a commentary on misogyny and male dominance. And then L.Q. Jones just kind of goes and has a fun time with it, which is maybe problematic.
He makes an adventure out of it, kind of like Peter Berg famously wanted to try and make a Dune movie in the 2000s. And he said he was going to take all the politics and all the religion about it and just make it a boy's adventure, which should be like an antithesis of what that story is supposed to be. So it feels like by just making Vic the protagonist in an adventure, that the power of the power has been taken out of the story. So this is like maybe a really bad version of this story.
Mhm.
Like that maybe there's a potential good version of this story to be told, or a watchable maybe, but as it was, this was kind of like I drifted in and out. I remember at one point I like had this awful moment where I was like, oh, I have no idea what's happening in this movie. Oh, this woman is getting naked right now. There's that at least. And then I realized like, oh my God, this movie has turned me into this toxic man but just I think accidentally by virtue of just kind of being boring and not having a strong handle on its own narrative elements.
Yeah, I like Ben's point that you could have rapists in this universe to explain that they've grown up in no society where there's no rules and no moral teachings. But when that's your protagonist that you're following around and supposed to be rooting for, it's very uncomfortable and hard to get behind. Because I agree, I struggled with sympathizing with this character, Vic.
Yeah, it reminds me of this one time this guy who wrote short stories gave me a bunch of short stories he wanted and said like, hey, here, why don't you read these and like maybe you can turn one into a short film. And the first one I read was like the first person perspective from a group of boys who had just raped a girl and she was in the van with them still, and they were all driving back from the spot where they'd raped her, and it was just going through what they were thinking through their heads. And I was just like, I was so appalled that that was the person that he chose to write about. It's like that it made me distance myself from that person because it's like a very strange choice to focus on the rapist.
Mm-hmm.
For that,
And that
for
writer's name? Harlan Ellison. Crazy.
Yeah, we just happened to grow up in the same small town.
Yep. And I never really met him. Weird.
Okay. So now we're going to get to the part of the show where we read through the description on Wikipedia, and then we, after each paragraph, will discuss amongst ourselves how we felt about this point of the movie. In the post-nuclear war United States of 2024, Vic is an 18-year-old boy born in and scavenging throughout the wasteland of the former southwestern United States. Vic is most concerned with food and sex. Having lost his parents, he has no formal education and does not understand ethics or morality. He is accompanied by a well-read, misanthropic, telepathic dog named Blood, who helps him find women to rape in exchange for food, because the dog cannot forage for himself through the same genetic engineering that grants him telepathy. So I guess there's genetic engineering that directly made Blood intelligent on purpose. So there's the explanation. It's hard to understand and even catch any of the exposition in the beginning because you're not sure who Vic is talking to until you realize that, oh, this is the dog.
Like, we don't really know what's going on yet. Yeah.
No, there's no clear explanation for that. There's no like shots of the dog specifically close in on him when he's supposed to be talking, which is how that would be made more clear today. Like you'd watch a Dr. Dolittle movie, you're going to see the talking animal is focused on when they're speaking. Anyway, the two steal for a living, evading bands of raiders.
Imagine if Dr. Dolittle used his animals to help him rape. That was a whole different story.
Let's get Eddie
Robert
Murphy on the
Downey
line.
Jr. is Dolittle.
You wanted to get into directing, didn't you?
Eddie Murphy.
Okay. The two steal for a living, evading bands. Blood and Vic have an occasionally antagonistic relationship. Blood frequently annoys Vic by calling him Albert, after the wholesome writer about dogs, Albert Payson Terhune. I've never heard of this guy. I guess today they'd be calling him Caesar, or Caesar Milan. Though they realize that they need each other to survive. Blood wishes to find the legendary promised land of Over the Hill, where above-ground utopias are said to exist, though Vic believes that they must make the best of what they have.
Well read.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, Vic is quizzing, being quizzed by Blood to reiterate all of the history. And this is how we find out that there was a Third World War and a Fourth World War. And the Fourth World War was, I believe, only 5 days because it was pretty much just nukes getting thrown back and forth, glassing everything.
Yeah. Is that one of the most absurd sentences you've ever uttered in your life? He is accompanied by a well-read, misanthropic, telepathic dog named Blood who helps him find women to rape. Like, that is just crazy.
It's up there, man.
I mean, I spent like 10 years
Try saying that
raves,
3 times fast.
So, like, the music industry does inspire a lot.
Sorry,
of
raves
stupid
with the V?
conversation. Raves with a V.
Raves.
Let's clarify that
Gotcha.
in case anybody... Wow.
I was a serial ravist.
It's not the pronunciation that bothers me.
I was wondering if he was going for a Freudian kind of analysis where Vic is representing the id, like the animal instincts of needing food and sex, and then the dog was supposed to be like the super ego to have like the moral conscience part. But I'm not sure if Blood really functions that way. Though he's more intelligent and more worldly than Vic, I don't know if he has much of a moral compass. What do you guys think about that?
He seems to not care at all about rape. But I mean, like dogs,
I think they're kind of two sides of it.
Understand the concept, like in nature. I don't know.
I think they're kind of like two sides of toxic masculinity. There's the like emotional id, I just want food, I just want sex side. And then his like the cold rationality side. Like how many times have we seen somebody being horribly racist and incredibly petty say, oh, I don't believe in an emotional response. Like everything I'm saying here is pure logic, which is like the most emotional stance you can possibly take, just assert that everything you're saying is logical. So it's kind of like what I got with him is that like Blood was kind of like a sea lion, like a bad faith guy. Cause like he was educating Vic, but his education for Vic was to make Vic do the things that he wanted him to do.
Yeah, he was correcting his grammar, not his behavior.
Yeah. Like he didn't give a shit that Vic would treat that was going around raping animals. Let's...
I missed that. I must have went to the washroom during that scene. I don't know. Unfortunately for me.
Oh, I don't know whether to cut that or leave that in. It's a terrible, terrible slip. But they're treating women like animals, so there I can tie it all back in there. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, everyone's just inching away a little further away from the screen right now.
That actually might have been more interesting had Vic been the debased id, animal instincts, and the dog was actually the one who was his moral compass, but it didn't really play out that way.
Yeah, if the dog had told him not to do bad things.
Jones understood that, but maybe Harlan Ellison did.
Yeah, I'd almost be curious to read the book just to see the differences, because I think my understanding is Harlan Ellison had more of a message he was trying to get across.
Yeah, but like, let's be clear, the same exact plot happens. Nothing is different about the plot except for one detail that I will specify and one line of dialogue. Those are the two main things, but it's pretty much the same thing, just a lower budget version of the same story. Because there's like a big interaction with the screamers early on in the short story. And there's another short story set before where Blood actually saves Vic from screamers. So I think that's a big part of the world that, like, if a new version of the story we made could be really done to make that stronger. Because again, we just really, it feels like, oh, this is a very cheap side story of Mad Max. It could be set in the world of Mad Max.
Yeah.
Like the aesthetic of the movie theater place feels so much like Bartertown.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ben, you want to
the
take the next
popcorn would have
paragraph?
been like eyeballs or something.
Yeah.
Do I ever? Searching a bunker for a woman for Vic to rape. They find one,
Jesus
but
Christ.
she's already been severely mutilated and is on the verge of death. Vic displays no pity. He is merely angered by the wastefulness of such an act, as well as disgusted by the thought of satisfying his urges with a woman in such a condition. They move on, only to find slavers excavating another bunker. Vic steals several cans of their food, later using them to barter for goods in a nearby shantytown. This was a funny scene. Probably some of the more exciting action where he like grabs the food and then he has to like do that little roll and like shoots that guy in the head with his pistol. Like that was kind of cool. You know.
Yeah,
I'll
like
give him
there was I had hope at this point that it was going to turn into a story where he was freeing people that were being enslaved.
Nope.
But nope. He just goes to the movies after this. But I think this is what you're
My
talking
note
about
for-
earlier with that quote, Mike.
Yeah,
it's
hard to get on his side. Like so earlier on, you hate this character. So even when he's doing things where you should, in theory, be rooting for him to survive and evade these like criminals, you're almost rooting against him. You want him to get shot.
Yeah.
My only note for the first 20 minutes of the movie was series of disappointments. Then they steal food from Louisiana Napoleon. Vic just wants to get laid.
Yep.
So that could have just been the plot summary too.
Not wrong.
It would be one thing if he's looking to get laid, but he's actually just looking to rape women, which is so much worse.
Yeah, like
So much worse.
Like, does he even know what consensual sex is like? Like, does he know that like the best part is when your partner is enjoying what you're doing? No, he has no fucking
I think
idea.
the real question is, does Blood know? Because if he does, he should really give this guy some better lessons.
I think Blood might not know. Because to
He
Blood,
does refer to it as mating.
yeah,
Does Blood. Yeah.
Oh yeah, doesn't he? When they are doing it in the bunker, doesn't he turn away or I hate? What's he say? I hate something.
It's like mating is such an ugly act or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Breeding is an ugly thing, he says.
mm-hmm. So that evening, while watching old vintage stag films at a local outdoor cinema, Blood claims to smell a woman, and the pair track her to a large underground warehouse. Of note, LQ Jones is the man in the porno. So,
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Oh.
what a Hitchcockian funny there. Yeah,
Really puts the cock in Hitchcock.
yeah.
Oh, well played.
Yeah. So there, Vic attempts to rape Quilla June Holmes, a scheming and seductive teenage girl from down under, but not after we've like watched her undress for like 5 minutes or so. It's like so long and so gross. You just don't see this except like in a music video for the person who's making all of the money for that exploitation. You know, it's gross today. Yeah. Unknown to the pair, Quilla June's father, Lou Craddock, had sent her above ground to recruit surface dwellers. Blood takes an instant dislike to her, but Vic ignores him. After Vic saves Quilla June from raiders and mutants, they have repeated sex. Eventually, she secretly returns to her underground society. The part of the repeated sex is apparently like a third of the short story of just them hooking up after. There's like an interesting scene where like they have to escape from the raiders and the mutants that you could really build a good action scene around today.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of because like you were saying, because Vic is such a piece of shit up to this point, it's really hard to root for her. You're kind of rooting for her. I mean, you're kind of rooting for her. It's hard to root for him.
So here's a question. You mentioned her awkwardly long undressing scene, which I agree makes no sense. But do you get the sense because of her mission to go and recruit young men that she is aware of his presence and is doing that to seduce him? Or do you think the movie was?
I think retrospectively, yeah.
I think Harlan Ellison wrote that, and L.Q. Jones didn't direct it that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It really seems like Vic is supposed to be like the guy who's in control in that whole situation, right? He pulls the gun on her right away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Vlad calls it though. He's like, "Oh, this is too easy, man. Look, it was so easy to sleep with her, and now she's like luring you back to this place. Like, come on, like, don't go with that."
That's true, and that's also just misogynistic as hell, unfortunately, because it's like, oh, he's right to be mistrusting of this woman. So it's its own little form of toxicity. I have a feeling L.Q. Jones might have been a little bit of a messed up guy. Just a tad. He passed away in 2015. He's not going to hear this.
LQ standing for a little quirky.
All the zingers.
Yeah. So she's returned to her underground society. Enticed by the thought of more women and sex, Vic follows her despite Blood's warnings. Blood remains on the surface at Down Under's portal. So this is where we leave the dog for the last half of A Boy and His Dog. Kind of.
Did you think that was a mistake?
I think it was definitely a literary choice that made the movie suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it made sense. I think in the short story it made sense because it doesn't really matter so much, and it comes back. Like, the last line of the short story is about a boy and his dog. The last line of the movie is about misogyny and being gross. So like there's a total difference going on in that. So I feel like in that people considered A Boy and His Dog to be an unfilmable short story before it was made. It's like, okay, maybe this is part of why, because if the whole thing is about the boy and his dog's relationship, you'll wind up spending way too much time not in that world with that dog. Because what sticks around in my head,
that's why it's unfilmable.
Okay, it's also unfilmable because of all the rape. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
And the cannibalism, my friend.
Cannibalism can be interesting. Like Luca Guadagnino made a cannibalism movie with Timothée Chalamet, and nobody thought that was
alive.
Too gross. I mean, I didn't watch it or anything because cannibalism is upsetting ever since Mike got me into zombie movies 20 years ago. But
yeah, are you talking about Call Me by Your Name?
Well, it had Armie Hammer in it, but it's not about cannibalism.
See, that's where I got confused. My apologies.
Yeah, I get what happened there.
Yeah, because one of the more entertaining elements is the dialogue between Vic and the dog. So to have the dog just leave and to lose that element of it, I feel like just made the film suffer more than it already was.
Totally. Because you lose, because the dog has this down-home Southern charm, and the dog's voice is being used as ADR to patch up little parts of the plot that don't make sense, which is very helpful, and you lose that. And you wind up having to go entirely with the visuals of the society, which it is a unique portal society, a whole lot less high-tech than anything we've seen before. And I think maybe the most upsetting portal society, like I just watched Silo, which is also about a community in a fallout shelter. And that society's got lots of problems, but it wasn't just so goddamn alienating from just the visuals alone, because all the characters have this pancake makeup and rose on their cheeks.
Yeah.
They all look kind of like clowns. I don't know if it was meant to represent that they are all just pale, or if that was just like what their fashion had evolved into.
That's why
they had the black line drawn in there too. I think they drew that on every day. And like the little lip thing to make them look like they were smiling. I think it was just to make everybody look idyllic and happy all the time.
How do you get access to that much makeup in the post-apocalypse? Who's manufacturing this for these people to wear makeup every single day?
Yeah, isn't makeup mostly coming from animal fats and things, and synthetic versions of animal fats? So what's up with that? Also, was it maybe to represent the fact that they kind of had no voice? All those people were just kind of conditioned to believe and act in one way, so they didn't really have.
Yeah, it's basically mime and makeup.
Yeah, they look like mimes to me. Super creepy mimes with a marching band.
There was some
about
weird
1950s
choices,
Americana.
the marching band.
You first.
Oh, just that the marching band and the barbershop quartet were playing at the same time. There's a few discordant moments like that where they had like diegetic and non-diegetic music playing at the same time. And that was really weird. I don't know if that was just like poor editing or if it was a choice to make things seem a little more chaotic, but
I mean,
distracting.
as a person who's always been kind of upset by 1950s Americana ideas and aesthetics, I kind of feel like it was meant to be discordant to make us feel the kind of upset that the writers and the creators of the film felt when they look at, like, like nuclear family, picket fence, prescribed Christian white living.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's like a real idea among people that rejected society and were more like leaning towards libertarianism at the time, that like this whole idea of things was bad. Now, ironically, libertarians want that more than anything, which is just an amazing little hamster wheel that conservative media has spun. Anybody that becomes distrustful of authority becomes. But I think that there was like a totally different feeling to rejecting ideas and wanting to be completely free 50 years ago than there is now.
Did it feel very underdeveloped to you as well? Like this might have been a cool opportunity to juxtapose, what is happening in this underground society relative to the crazy chaos that's happening up in the wasteland. But everything felt pretty artificial.
We were running into the limits of L.Q. Jones's imagination all over the place, I think.
Yeah.
They're like, he just threw everything that he hates.
Like the Bioshock video games, where it's like based on like American colonialism and the greatness of America and like the great leader, and everyone's just kind of playing their role and wearing like nice clothing and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Totally. I think you're next for the prescriptions.
Yeah. With a prescription.
Give us the prescription, doctor.
You got it. Down Under has an artificial biosphere complete with forests and a city which is named Topeka after the ruins of the destroyed city that it lies beneath. The city is ruled by a triumvirate known as the Committee, who have shaped Topeka into a bizarre caricature of pre-nuclear war United States, with all residents wearing whiteface and clothes evocative of rural United States prior to World War II. When Vic is told that he has been brought to Topeka to help fertilize the female population, he is elated to learn of his stud value. His joy is short-lived when he is informed that Topeka meets its need for exogamous reproduction by electroejaculation and artificial insemination, which will deny him the sexual pleasure that he had envisioned. People who refuse to comply with the committee are sent off to the farm and never seen again as they are murdered. Vic is informed that when his semen has been used to impregnate 35 women, he will also be sent to the farm. And he was informed by Quilla June as she's helping him escape. It's so funny. Like, he goes from so stoked on being a stud. He's like, I'll start with you. And he just is like, points to the like one woman in the room, and she starts laughing, and they all start laughing. And it's because they're about to, it's like, lock him onto a bed, put tape.
They're going to hook him up to a jizz machine.
Electro-ejaculate him. But
that was maybe my favorite part.
And bulls, right? This is ejaculation, artificial insemination. It's like what they do to farm animals. So the barn thing all makes sense for sure.
Yeah, the way they transition from him cheering and the look of glee that he's gonna, impregnate all the women, and then he's locked down and tied and being, what do they call it? Electro-ejaculated. That was really funny. Mm-hmm. I like that part.
So this is actually the biggest difference between the short story and the film, because they actually invented the ejaculation machine for the movie. In the book, he actually does just get to impregnate all the women.
Oh, wow.
One by one. He just gets to do it. And so there's lots of descriptions of him just banging all of the women that live there. And then eventually him and Quilla June, like, she talks him into doing a rebellion, and they leave, but partly because he just gets bored of just fucking women that are consenting all the time.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's messed up.
Really messed up. Harlan Ellison's a weird guy.
Clearly. Jesus.
Yeah. But like, when I realized what was going on with the jizz machine, I had to go back and just watch that whole scene over again. Because that's like one of the craziest things that I'd ever seen in any film.
L.Q. Jones gets credit.
It's funny how little they show too. Like Like they just keep like putting up like a little curtain over the jizz machine. They just show the green lights. I guess it's all like production cost stuff, but it is funny to like picture what would that look like? Like, is it like a thing going up his butt? What does it do? How does it work?
I want to know what the makeup department used for like the vial of semen. Is it like conditioner or some special thing they made?
Cheaper to use actual semen, unfortunately.
Funny story, this is a bit of a tangent, but in Human Centipede 2, I believe, they use a lot of fecal matter. And a story from behind the scenes is that they use some kind of like chocolate mixture to make the fecal matter. And they kept running out because it was so delicious. All the cast members were like eating it behind the scenes in between shoots because it tasted so good. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Wow.
So maybe the semen was made of something super delicious.
Huh. Human Centipede 2, eh? How's that as a movie? What figure would you give Human Centipede?
It's finger licking good.
Oh, Ben, you're on fire tonight.
Quilla June helps Vic escape only because she wants to kill the committee members and destroy their android enforcer, Michael, so that she can usurp their power. Vic has no interest in politics or remaining underground. He only wants to return to blood and the wasteland. The rebellion is quashed by Michael, who crushes the heads of Quilla June's co-conspirators before Vic disables him. She proclaims her love for Vic and wants to escape to the surface with him, now that her rebellion has been quashed and the committee has decreed that she must be sent to the farm. This rebellion looks like trash. It's like I
They
blinked
never
and
even stopped their meeting. They just like
No.
let the meeting go on. He's got a gun. He could have shot them at any moment. They just sat there and stared silently. Very strange.
Yeah, like I expected more after the competent action sequence earlier when they had to escape the mutants, but this was kind of like, oh, is this really happening? And it's all happening with like white picket fences and like really strange lighting. And again, everyone has the pancake makeup on their face.
Did you
And
buy
Michael
it
had
at
a
all?
smile plastered on his face.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Did you buy at all this relationship between Vic and Quill? Like, he was hunting her down, trying to rape her. She is there to lure him back. Under what circumstances does she suddenly decide that she wants to be with him and escape with him? Like, I really struggled with believing that.
I got the feeling we weren't supposed to believe her.
No, I mean, it's just to escape going to the farm, right? Like that's.
So you think she's not
just
interested in him at all?
Yeah, I think it
She's
was a
a schemer.
misogynistic take on her as well. That she
Okay.
was like not a great person and that she was just using Vic all the time.
So I was reading this film gets.
We're at,
Oh, sorry. I think I've heard that this film was attacked as misogynistic in the 70s, and obviously current day is attacked as misogynistic.
Oh yeah,
But
you
I had
could
heard
never
that
make
this
this
film
statement.
was celebrated as liberating for women in the 1980s. I'm trying to understand where that analysis would come from or what elements of the film
Well,
they might celebrate.
they tacked on that little scene with the nuclear bombs in the explanation. So that's
Okay, that makes sense.
it makes about as much sense as this goddamn film.
The 80s, was that the time when women decided that men were awesome and right about everything all along or something? Because that was
And
Reagan.
they wanted to look like them by wearing big shoulder pads and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I just don't know how you could possibly interpret this film as liberating for women, but I guess is she advocating herself and defying the triumvirate and trying to make a better life for herself, perhaps?
I
I
think
think
that
she's
she,
just power hungry.
yeah, I don't think that she has much of a sense of morality either. I think that today Quilla would be that character. She would be trying to save them. But I don't know if, I don't think we got enough of who she was in this movie that we could really ascribe positive character traits to her.
Yeah, this film really suffers from underdeveloped characters. Everyone is a caricature. There's not any depth.
On the surface, Vic and Quilla June discover that Blood is starving and near death. She pleads with Vic to abandon Blood, forcing him to face his true feelings. Vic decides that his loyalties lie with his dog. Off camera, Vic murders Quilla June and cooks her flesh so that Blood can eat and survive. Blood thanks Vic for the food, and they both comment on Quilla Jin. Vic says that it was her fault that she followed him, while Blood wryly jokes that she had marvelous judgment, but did not have particularly good taste. Taste, get it? The boy and his dog continue to talk as they walk off together into the wasteland. That's that on that.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna sound like a horrible person. I kind of like the ending, honestly. I like how dark it was. I kind of smiled.
It's dark. Yeah.
I took me like a good 20 minutes to even realize what had happened. I was like, oh, he chose to just go with the dog instead.
Me
And then I
too.
got the joke later. I was like, oh, holy shit, they did that very, very subtly. Yeah. The last line of the story that Harlan Ellison wrote that he got super mad with the director for changing was Quilla asks Vic, do you know what love is? And he says, sure, I know. A boy loves his dog, which is kind of like, I think more like putting you in his mindset. Maybe almost a wholesome take on the ending, because like he's choosing the one thing that he does know is love, his dog that does look after him, or the one thing that he feels is love.
That seems like that wouldn't have fit though with the tone of the film. I actually kind of like L.Q. Jones's ending, given everything else that he'd done prior to this.
Fair enough.
In this movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely funnier. Yeah.
Did you like it? Would you say you like that ending or no?
Me? No, just because of the overall tone. Like I think that aspect, like the plot, I think is can work. I think this execution of the plot was a failure. And
Right.
like the movie bombed. It didn't. There's no information on how much money it made. Like we always check how much money these have made and see. We know they cost $400,000, but we don't know what it made at all, which means it made very, very little.
Yeah, I guess mostly I didn't really like the movie, so the fact it got a smile out of me at the end and how dark it was, I just kind of caught me off guard. I kind of appreciated it, but fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
As a throwback to last season, it caught me off guard almost as much as Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, the ending to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that one a little bit better because it's a little bit more shocking.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Like we see the execution of it more. Even though we don't actually see the incident, we hear that, but it's like very clear what's happened. Whereas that, like it was almost done so deftly that I could imagine a world where many people watch that movie without ever understanding what happened in the ending. You know?
Jim, did you say this movie bombed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like zero box office information about it, which is pretty bad if there's no information about how much it made. Like I looked all over the place on the numbers on Box Office Mojo, Wikipedia, IMDb. Nobody knows if this made any money. And it took until 2013 to even release it on DVD, which is pretty late to have gotten to that around to that point.
It's interesting too, because if the Fallout games didn't exist, I wonder if we'd even be reviewing this film right now. Like it seems like the reason that this movie has gotten a bit of a following at this point is because of the success of Fallout and Mad Max, maybe to a lesser extent.
Yeah, it's also referenced in the Book of Eli. Yeah. So I know the Hughes brothers have heard of it, but I think it's George Miller has given this credit. He's referenced it. So I think that's kind of why. But one reference isn't enough. I think it did take like the fact that Fallout was one of the best TV shows of last year in my experience. Like I found that it was the one movie where TV show where diehard fans of the original subject matter and new fans both seem to really like it in equal amount, which is like, to me, that's real success if you can satisfy both audiences.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to please video game fans because
it's true.
Like they want something so specific. And to me, most of the time when you make a movie that feels like a video game, that is a bad movie, because just finding stuff and getting things and then having twists at the end doesn't make for a good movie. Look at Borderlands, maybe the worst movie of last year.
Oh yeah, I heard that was real bad.
So bad it made Megalopolis a joyful experience to watch right afterwards. Yeah,
the success rate of video games to the big screen has not been very
totally good. Right. It's like Last of Us has been good. The Mario Brothers movie was good. Both of them, the 1993 one and the recent one, I think are both perfect films with nothing to criticize.
Yeah, at the time, I think the Silent
Sonic the
Hill.
Hedgehog 1 through 3.
Hey, I
Sonic-
love Sonic 3. Sonic 3 rocks. That movie is fun as
I have
hell.
not seen the third one.
I would
That's
not
fair.
bother with the other ones, but the third one is just like, who cares? Just now the characters are here and doing stuff. And
The
Jim Carrey
original
plays two
90s
characters.
Mario Brothers film, the original 90s one's really good.
Yeah, it's so much
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
It's the ultimate it's
I
the
was kidding,
ultimate
but-
bad movie to me. It's just
It
like
is.
so it misses the mark so drastically of what that story is supposed to be, but it's so fun and full of interesting ideas on its own.
It's like
If
the
it
room.
wasn't a Mario Brothers movie, it would be like one of everyone's favorite movies. It's a really interesting movie. It's just a real bastardization of what it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
Bob Hoskins, though, like, what a great choice for Mario. Like, come on.
He really gave it. He really gave it his all. Dennis Hopper as Koopa is also fantastic because really, who's he playing in that?
Yeah.
Trump.
Oh yeah. That's
Essentially.
true.
Oh yeah, it's totally Trump. He's doing Trump. It's really funny. Trump was always my
Less
favorite
orange.
villain in movies until he became a villain in real life.
Home Alone 2.
Yeah, exactly. Our first reaction to him. Although I think he does give Kevin the right advice, unfortunately, in that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, he's helpful, which is a real bad message to send to kids. But I distinctly remembered, like, there's this pizza ad from when they invented stuffed crust pizza that him and Ivana did way back in the day. And I remember watching that ad when I was 10 years old and just being like, that man's evil. And so if I could tell from a pizza ad when in 1995, when I was a 10-year-old boy, that man's evil, just by watching him eat pizza with his wife, like, what's going on if you can't tell?
I don't think I've seen this ad. I have to watch it on YouTube.
It's all over YouTube. It's a very famous ad because of who's
Huh.
in it. While we're on the subject of Donald Trump, everyone should watch The Apprentice. It is a horror movie about him. You don't want to watch it because it's about Trump, but like it's such a good way to understand who he is as a person, to see how horribly he treats his mentor that gives him all of his philosophies.
Are you recommending all of the seasons or just the first one?
Sorry, the movie The Apprentice, the
Oh.
Sebastian Stan, the Academy Award nominated performance as Donald Trump. I think
Okay, gotcha.
Jeremy Strong from Succession is also in it as Roy Cohn. He got an Oscar nomination too. It's really good.
Yeah.
Sebastian Stan crushed it last year. A Different Man in The Apprentice is the most amazing 1-2 punch of performances. A Different Man is also a very good movie that I recommend everybody watch. It's super clever film. I don't know if I mentioned that one before. That was what I was going to mention earlier in the show, but we got sidetracked in talking about Honora, which was a good time.
Yeah, that movie's great.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Anyway, before we
Honora.
get into the remake game, Harlan Ellison did a couple sequel short stories because people really wanted more of Boy and His Dog. Like there was always an audience, a vocal audience, and fans of it. Like they eventually wound up adapting these as comic books. They were adapted by Richard Corbin from heavy metal fame. He did Den, which is like to me the most amazing and interesting crazy male id fantasy from the heavy metal series. It's very, you can see the connections between them all. So the first one is called Run Spot Run. And in that one, Vic and Blood continue on trying to find Over the Hill. But Vic is haunted by Quilla June. And because of their telepathic link, Blood is also haunted by Quilla June too. And he hates this. Blood winds up eating a poisonous lizard. And then hallucinating. And the hallucinations are also striking Vic. So while he's hallucinating, they wind up getting captured by this guy named Fellini, who has a group of child slaves. And Vic breaks his ankle while attempting to escape. Blood tells Vic to climb into a hollow tree stump to hide, and Blood covers him with leaves and runs off and gets the kids to lost. And he comes back to Blood, but Blood is now surrounded by giant spiders. And he's too far gone, and Vic allows himself to be cocooned by the spiders, and the spiders just finish him off, and Blood runs away without his master. So that is what Harlan Ellison did when people said we want more Boy and His Dog.
Those sound like they could be horror.
Yeah, like that's very horror, right? Like it's a terrible ending. It would be an amazing, I think, ending to this movie if that's what happened to Vic after this. Is he just like goes and gets eaten by spiders right away? He has some comeuppance.
I can kind of see it because I think the one thing I appreciate about the film a little bit, given the time that it came out, some of the world building is interesting, like given that this is pre-Mad Max, pre-Fallout.
Yeah.
The post-apocalyptic world is kind of appealing. I could see why people would have liked it for that reason. I mean, the characters are awful. The morality of the film is deplorable, but I can see how the Topeka underground and the wasteland, people just trying to survive, and I could see why that would be appealing.
Yeah, like I do think that the world building done here is like maybe as important as the world building in the first Star Wars, in that it's the first time we see post-apocalyptic stuff portrayed like this, that everything's the whole world is baked. There's no more energy supplies. Everything turns very nomadic, and the world is extremely scary, especially to women. It's mentioned in the descriptions of the world wars that because most of the men were out of the cities fighting, and the cities are what got attacked by the nukes, that's why there's less women. The planet is like 90% men at this point. So it's a really terrifying world. So when pushed to try and make more of this, or to make a TV sequel or something, Ellison came up with an idea called Blood's a Rover that would be trying to fix everything that was seen as toxic or bad about a boy and his dog. So in that idea, Blood would meet up with a woman named Spike, and this woman would be the main character of the story, and she would have an adventure. And this was eventually published like 2 days after Harlan Ellison died, was published as a book, a short story. So there exists a kind of like an attempt to correct this story by creating a female main character and having her replace Vic in the narrative, which I think is like, if you were to remake it maybe it would be cooler to do that story instead, like, pay homage to it, but not actually remake this story or give it too much airtime or oxygen, because again, it's toxic, right?
Yeah, it's too bad it was executed so poorly, because I think it could have been a huge hit if it was a well-made film in this world at that time. Like, it could have been like a Star Wars, because clearly, like, there's appeal for that type of world when you look at the success of Fallout and Mad Max. So yeah, there was maybe some opportunity here, but it was spoiled.
Yeah, I think
Road Warrior came out like 3-4 years after this, right? So
Mad Max is 5 years later, 4 years later.
Road Warrior?
Road Warrior is like 6 or 7 years, because Road Warrior is the sequel to Mad Max. But Mad Max
Warrior was first, then Mad Max was second.
No, it goes Mad Max first, and then Road Warrior second. Mad Max actually, the world of Mad Max isn't actually very post-apocalyptic yet. There's souped up cars, but the world has just collapsed. There's still buildings and highways and a lot of like elements of society are still around. Road Warrior, which is made a little later,
plenty of gasoline.
Yeah, the gasoline is more inspired by this. Actually, it's possible that he didn't even see Boy and his dog until after Mad Max. Like, I think there's a world where he hadn't heard that it existed until after and was inspired by it. I think it's possible that that's this world.
It does take a while for stuff to get to Australia, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a theory that you could say that that those movies, that the Mad Max movies and the new Planet of the Apes movies are set in the same timeline, and that the reason that the civilization is collapsing in Australia is because of the virus that wipes out all of the humans in the Planet of the Apes movies. If you really want, you can do so much fun things with headcanon. Headcanon wise, this can be in Fallout. It fits so well into the Fallout, like multiple world wars and multiple periods of apocalypse and rebuild, and another apocalypse happens. Like, Fallout is about a multiple apocalypse world, not just one.
Are either of you Fallout fans? Have you played the video games?
No.
Yeah, a little bit. I really got into 4.
Okay, cool.
So did you appreciate this film
all the way through,
having played Fallout 4?
Yeah, to a degree. I know that the creators of Fallout were inspired by it, so I appreciate it for that reason. But it didn't make me like the film more. It just made me appreciate it more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of like a terrible uncle or something. It's like, yeah, he helped my dad that one time when they were kids, but yeah, never did anything for me.
Your rapist uncle.
Oh, that's
How did you know about that?
Oh, specifics.
That uncle's name, Harlan Ellison.
Well played.
Okay. Was there a standout performance in this movie for anybody?
Tiger. How did they get him to talk like that? That was crazy.
That Tiger put up with a lot of shit. I would have loved to see Dog in the fight with whatever monsters or aliens or whatever that caught him up, that caught him in the damaged situation that he had to be in. That
I
would have been
thought I
really
read
good.
that they wanted to actually nominate the dog for an Oscar, and that there was a plan to do that, and then in the last minute they decided not to. But yeah, I would give it to the dog for sure.
Well, clearly because Tonto the cat didn't get an Oscar, and that cat's performance was head and shoulders above this one. Mike, have you heard of Harry and Tonto?
No, I don't think so.
It's this movie where this old man hangs out with a cat and goes across North America, and Art Carney, the star of that, won the Best Actor Oscar over Jack Nicholson in Chinatown, Al Pacino in The Godfather 2, Dustin Hoffman and Lenny.
Oh, I think I have heard this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that he beat these big names, and so we had to watch the movie to find out why, and it was like, oh, it was one of the closest experiences I've had to Boy and His Dog, I'll say that. Because there was really a part of me that thought, like, oh, we might be getting a great movie here when I sat down. And those hopes were quickly dashed.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
That great movie's name, Inside Llewyn Davis. Much better movie about a guy wandering around with a cat.
Like, I get it was 1975, but wouldn't that still been controversial to have a film about a guy who uses his dog to run around finding women to rape? Like, it's shocking to me in a way that they still made this.
Yeah.
Or were the 1970s just that misogynistic?
No, I think it's like when you go back and you hear about horrible things that happened in the WWF and you're like, oh, society was already way caught up to that. Like, no, I think this was a regression in some ways. Like, whatever progressive, cool things are happening in the movie in the terms of like the mise en scène of the world being depicted are kind of overridden by the weird conservative overtones of just like, like, I think it was almost played like a fantasy, like maybe the world would be better for men if it was like this. The dark humor of the ending certainly made me feel like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
If they were to remake this movie, though, as much as we've talked about how maybe it shouldn't happen, who would you guys cast and who would you get to direct it? I got my thoughts.
Let's let our guest go first.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I love that you do this. I think this is a really cool, pretty fun game. I had to think about this quite a bit. It was tricky. Nice. All right. So for director, I went for Taika Waititi. Because when I think of something like Jojo Rabbit, it has dark subject matter, but has sort of a comedic tone.
A boy in his Fuhrer, yes.
That's right, a boy in his Fuhrer. So I feel like he's maybe a capable director who can kind of walk that line between comedy, but like dark subject matter. I mean, you could take this in a few different directions. Like something like George Miller felt too obvious. Maybe, so I tried to go something a little more obscure, but yeah, I would say Taika Waititi for this one.
I like that.
Do you have a choice for who would play Vic?
Yeah, so I batted this one around. I was wondering about Tom Holland. I
almost said Tom Hardy. That's funny.
Oh, funny. Yeah. I think that worked too. Actually, I considered that also. Can be grittier, but also has that kind of youthful charm, and yeah, I think that could work. I'm thinking Jeff Bridges for Blood as the voice. I feel like he's got that kind of gravelly voice, but he's like older and maybe kind of wise. He could pull that off. But for Jeff Bridges for Blood, and I'm exposing the horror fan right now. But I was gonna go Mia Goth for Quilla June just because she's amazing and she can do the innocent kind of lure him in, but also the darker. She's just a really amazing performer.
I do love Mia Goth. That X trilogy, just incredible stuff.
So good.
Yeah, I love Mia Goth too, Jimmy.
Hey.
Hey yo.
So yeah, there we go. Taika Waititi starring Tom Holland, Jeff Bridges, and Mia Goth. That's what I was thinking for the remake of Boy and His Dog.
I like it.
Yeah, I think Mia Goth could really make Quilla an empowering character. So that's a cool take. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I picture what country could you still make this film? And my answer, Korea. And they could get Bong Joon-ho, somebody like that, to direct it, a good sort of like thriller horror kind of a director. And yeah, they could get some good like Korean actors in it. Some of the people from movies like
Well, that's cool.
Parasite. Yeah. And make it
Totally.
way darker and less like trying to be funny or sexy. Just make it really dark.
I like your starting point of what country could make this in this day and
Good
age.
point, yeah.
That's clever.
Word. Yeah. I hear you on the darker front, and that's where I went to. And I was thinking recently, I read this director that said they never want to make a modern movie because they would get depressed if they had to photograph a car. So I thought, like, oh, okay. So the only way to get this guy to do science fiction would be to do post-apocalyptic, post-car world. And I thought it might be interesting to get Robert Eggers to do this.
Nice. Yeah, that's
taking
cool.
a really dark direction. I just saw Nosferatu in theater, and it was just, it's like watching this moving painting. I can't recommend watching it in theater enough. I don't think that streamers will be very kind to it because it's so dark in its cinematography, but it is, the composition of every scene was just so breathtaking, and the camera movements were so haunting.
That would certainly elevate this film if Robert Eggers was doing it.
Yeah, totally. So like I had to bring Lily Rose Depp back as
nice.
Aquila because she was so incredible in Nosferatu. Like it looks like his performance is aided by wires and maybe makeup effects or anything, but it's all her. She's just so physical. I was mad that she was denied an Oscar nomination. I didn't want to like her performance because I've always thought Johnny Depp was a real overpraised kind of ham actor, but she was just phenomenal. I wanted to be mad because Anya Taylor-Joy had dropped out, and she's so good. But man, Lily Rose Depp is the realness. And
nice.
then I thought Matthew McConaughey. I also went for a Southern Gentleman.
Oh yeah,
the voice of Blood. I thought he'd make Blood.
Oh, that's a
like
great
a
choice.
Likeable, fun voice in this situation. Yeah. And then for Vic, I thought it would be cool to get Elliot Page to play him.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Because that would really throw context on everything.
But he still wants to rape really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Just as rapey, but now played by trans mask, boundary crossing, gate crashing hero, Elliot Page. I think that would be like the one way to make Vic relatable or likable at all.
I thank you for choosing a horror director, James.
Cheers. Yeah. I want the horror version.
Okay, you know what? I'll change mine to Kim Ki Duck just for you, Mike.
Oh, thank you.
Fuck Bong Joon-ho. Just kidding, Bong.
Great. That's awesome.
I did actually consider Robert Eggers at one point, and I switched. But yeah, good call on that one.
Cheers.
Well,
cheers.
Funny, in preparation for this episode, I watched one of your episodes of your show, Mike, and it happened to be the one about the witch because I don't watch a lot of horror, and that was like one of the ones I'd seen.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then, interestingly, your guest Kara, I think her name was.
That's right.
I just saw a play this Christmas with her in it, so it was just like a really funny coincidence. I was like, oh my god, I recognize that girl. So yeah, just an interesting thing. But yeah, great show, really enjoyable.
Oh, I'm glad you got to go to that.
Dudes of the Dead, sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to go see her live, and her show was sold out. So that was a good show?
It was fun. Yeah, it was a good like pantomime community theater production. Lots of fun for kids and families and stuff. And she did a flip in it, which was pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah, she's very athletic. Unfortunately, our audio didn't work for the YouTube version of that episode, so sorry if it sounded bad. But
no, it sounded fine.
Yeah. We'll have to have you back and bring your co-host maybe sometime. We have added a Giallo movie to our 1975.
Oh, really?
List. Yeah.
Nice. Which one?
Deep Red by Dario Argento.
Yeah, Argento. I've not seen that one actually, so that's cool.
Well, maybe we can communicate with your co-host and bring you guys back for that.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us on. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Nice Everyone should check out Dudes of the Dead.
Absolutely.
Yep, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, all the podcast places.
Word. And I'm going to play us out like normal by playing the number one song that came out that week. And in this case, it was Black Water by the Doobie Brothers.
Oh, nice.
We're going to be announcing a 25% tariff on the Mushroom Kingdom. Unless they give us Princess Peach.
Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Oh, Blackwater, keep on rolling. Mississippi moon, won't you keep on shining on me? Yeah, keep on shining your light. Gonna make everything great. Mama gonna make everything alright. And I ain't got no worries, 'cause I ain't in no hurry.